Hi, I'm Dave Dinkle, and this is my 2-minute tip. The question that came in to me was, should the seller file bankruptcy to stop the foreclosure? I mentioned the answer in a video before, but I'm going to do it again. What happens too often is the seller will say, how can I stop it? And the answer is typically, go to the court, file an emergency motion, go before the judge, so on and so forth. But how many times can you get away with that? It used to be in the good old days, 5 years ago, you could do that for 5 years and just stay in the house and not make a mortgage payment. But the courts finally said, yeah, this is almost fraud on the seller's part, so we're only going to allow so many. And then they started stamping the folders with do not accept refiling for a postponement. So what do? Well, you can go and file bankruptcy, that's for sure. That will not stop it. It'll stop the sale, but it's only going to postpone the sale, and only typically for 30 days. So now you've run to the attorney and he said it's only going to cost you $3,000 or $8,000, but I got to have it in cash because if you file bankruptcy, you won't pay me. So you pay him, and what happens? Sigh of relief. I'm going to stay in my home for another 30 days. However, what happens? The plaintiff in the case, the lender, files a motion to the bankruptcy trustee to release the property. Let's say in the interim, during that 30 days, you rush into the seller and you get a signed contract. Well, that's great, except the seller can't sign the contract legally anymore. Has to be signed by the trustee. That's how the bankruptcy court system works. Because what can happen? The seller can be selling off assets way below market value. So the house is not really technically anything more than still owned by the seller. It's now controlled by the trustee. So is there another way to stop the sale by postponing it? Yeah, there is. And unfortunately, it's happened to me in a couple of foreclosures that I've had to go through. I probably got the idea from me by watching my 2-minute tips sometime in the past, but very simply what happened is you go to the clerk of the court before the sale and you file a notice of intent to file bankruptcy. Goes into, I'm not going to tell you what it goes into, but you can ask somebody that's not a bankruptcy attorney how to do it. File it. 99% of the cases or more, it will postpone the sale. Because what happens when you have a bankruptcy and the sale goes forward? It reverses the sale in effect. So I'm not giving you legal advice, but I'm just saying to you that's a better way. And that's happened to me. What happened is, one of the cases, he actually filed a bankruptcy petition and didn't pay the fees. So what happened? They never recorded it because he didn't pay the fees. So it was technically as strong as a bankruptcy, and it worked, but it wasn't. So again, try and make the seller understand that by filing bankruptcy, he's paying a lot of money for something that he doesn't need. It's going to stain his credit report. Besides the pre-foreclosure and the foreclosure sale, it's already on his credit report. The foreclosure sale is going to be on there for a couple of years. He can probably get financing within a year or two, but not when he files bankruptcy. That becomes a whole nother issue. So try and work with your seller to make them understand that inevitably the house is going to have to be sold, and work towards a way to do that. Typically, one of the ways to postpone it is to get it under contract to try and do a short sale. Now, how long does it take to do a short sale? It can take months, but you have to make sure that you do it properly and somebody knows what they're doing in the short sale. Otherwise, the property will go to sale. You're speaking to the lender, an asset manager who's negotiating a short sale with you, and the attorneys for the foreclosure have sold it at auction. You come back and say, well, gee, it's the same bank. Don't you guys communicate? No, it's not the same bank. It's the bank and an attorney that they hired to do the foreclosure. He gets paid by doing the foreclosure. You have to make sure he's in the email chain. He's well aware that it's being postponed or it's going to go to sale. I'm Dave Dinkle, and I wish you limitless success in all that you do.